Hello, this is Minseo Choi from We Learn to Share. In this video, I'll be covering AP Human Geography Chapter 1.1 to 1.4. And specifically, I'll be covering difference between geography and history, concept used to explain the uniqueness of every place, concept used to explain interrelation between different places, timelines of map, contemporary geographic tools, and lastly, interpreting maps. Let's begin with the basic. What does the term geography means? The term geography is a combination of two Greek words, geo, which means earth, and graphy, which means to write. And human geography is a subject of understanding the relationship between people, places, and environment. Let's start with the first concept, difference between geography and history. The German philosopher Immanuel Kant compared history and geography as where geographers focus on the location of important places. Geographers explain why human activities were found on certain location, and they ask where and why, whereas historians focus on the dates of an important event. Historians explain why human activities follow one chronologically, and historians ask question of when and why. And now, let's look at concept used to explain the uniqueness of every place. In order to answer the question where and why, geographers use map. And there are several basic concepts of explaining the uniqueness of every place utilizing the map. Place is a specific point on Earth distinguished by a particular characteristic. Place explains the unique location, position of a place on Earth's surface. And region is an area of Earth defined by one or more distinctive characteristics. For example, to explain the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste as a place, it would be the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste is an independent country situated on the eastern half of the island of Timor. The western portion of the island is mostly a part of Indonesia. And to explain it as a region, Timor-Leste is located in Southeast Asia, one of the major areas of the world that geographers identify. And now, let's look at concepts used to explain the interrelation between different places. Scale is a relationship between the portion of Earth being studied and Earth as a whole. And space is a physical gap between two objects. Connection is a relationship among people and objects across the barrier of space. And now let's cover the history of map briefly. So, what is map? Map is a two-dimensional model of Earth's surface, and we call the study of map making cartography. And there are three most important people in the history of map, which I'll be covering. The first person is Pythagoras, and you guys might have heard him in your math class. Pythagoras is the first person who proposed that the world is sphere. Then Aristotle provided evidence for Pythagoras' argument that the world is a sphere. And then Eratosthenes, he proved that the world is sphere by measuring the Earth's circumference. Then how did he measure the Earth's circumference? In the 3rd century BCE, Eratosthenes, a Greek librarian in Alexandria, he calculated the Earth's circumference to be about 45,900 kilometers. How? He compared the length of a shadow from a vertical sticks in two different cities on the same day. And then the ratio between the north and south distance between the two cities and the angle measured gave the ratio, which allowed him to calculate the size of the Earth. And nowadays, people are able to access to maps through smartphones, computers, and other electronic devices. Online service of map were enabled by contemporary geographic tools. Unlike the past, people used the method of remote sensing to gather data of Earth. Remote sensing is an acquisition of data about Earth's surface from a satellite orbiting the Earth. And there are many systems and data acquisition used by remote sensing. The first one is Geographic Information Science, also known as GIS science. And this is the analysis of data about Earth acquired through the satellites and other technologies. Number 2, Geographic Information System, also known as GIS, is a system which displays, stores, and captures geographic data, and it provides an accurate map of Earth. And GIS helps better understanding of spatial patterns in relationship. Number 3, Global Positioning System, is also known as GPS. And this system this allows us to determine the precise position of something on Earth. More than 24 satellites track the precise location of the receiver and send the signal to the receiver. And GPS is mostly used for navigation. Another important map to know is mashup. A mashup is a map that overlays the data from source on top of map provided by map-making services such as Google Map. And now let's learn about the contemporary maps. Depicting globe's sphere shape of world on a single paper is impossible. Therefore, map makers use map scales, which is the relationship of feature size on a map to its actual size on Earth, to present Earth as a smaller way. And there are 3 ways of doing this. Number 1, ratio or fraction. You make a ratio between distance on map and actual Earth size. For example, a scale of 1 to 1 million means that 1 unit of a map represents 1 million units of Earth. Number 2, written scale. It's a description scale in words. For example, 1 centimeter equals to 1 kilometer. Graphic scales. Graphic scale is a graphic mark to represent the scale between feature size and actual size. For example, the use of bar line could be an example of using graphic scale. And utilizing this map scales, we're able to present the whole globe, Earth, on a single paper of map. And the scientific method of transferring location of Earth's surface to flat map is called projection. However, there are some limitations when presenting Earth on a single map. Drawing Earth, which is sphere-shaped, on a flat map causes distortion of map. Among many maps, none produce perfect results. And these are types of distortion caused by projection. Number 1, distortion of shape of an area. Number 2, distortion of distance between 2 locations. Number 3, distortion of relative size of an area. Number 4 is a distortion of direction from one place to another. And each type of projection contains a distortion error. So, there are many types of projection, but we're going to look at 4 types of projections: Mercator, Gall-Peters, Good-Homolocene, and Robinson. The first one is Mercator. Mercator is a standard map projection for navigation. It's a type of conformal map. And conformal map is a map that preserves local angles and direction. However, as you can see in the screen, there are distortion on shape and size. It really exaggerates area far from the equator. Whereas Gall-Peters, it preserves relative size of the continents. However, there are distortion in polar regions and shapes. And Good-Homolocene projection separates eastern and western hemisphere. And the blank white space between the continents are called interrelation. And Robinson projection has distortion around poles and edges. However, it preserves accurate distance, size, and shape. And this is all I have prepared for today's lecture. Thank you for watching the video and have a wonderful day.